And welcome in to our first ever Bears Victory Monday. By the way, since I started at CHGO, I've not lost one damn football game. Neither have the Bears. The head of content is Kevin Kaduk. The Northwestern Wildcat, the Chicago Bear, more importantly, is Corey Wootton.
What's going on? What's going on, baby?
Great to see everybody. Welcome in here. CHGO Bear Monday presented by PointsBet. We love you, PointsBet. Use that code CHGO to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000 damn dollars. Woot, good to see you in studio.
What's up, baby?
Kevin, we're here. We're 1-0.
Yep.
And
feels good.
It doesn't just feel good. It feels like it's football weather out there today.
It feels great, and I was almost spot on with our prediction. I said 21-10, and Santos had to miss the 2 extra points. He just had to do it to me. They might as well call me Nostradamus.
You could have made a lot of money with that exact prediction.
Exactly. Maybe if they got the towel situation right, maybe. I don't know.
Well, right. I think you actually get 99% credit because you could not have predicted that there would be a torrential rainstorm and the Bermuda grass wasn't going to hold.
There was a lot of kicker problems yesterday.
Yeah,
Bengals, Colts.
True.
Kicker problems everywhere.
True. But that's sort of where we want to start today, and we got a lot to cover. Nicholas Moreano is going to join us in about 20 minutes. Adam Hogue, we miss you, we love you, but he can't speak, so we can't be on the show.
We got big news first. So yesterday was an iconic moment. Justin Fields splashing down with the rest of his teammates in the end zone. We got a shirt off of it, baby. Look at that
I
thing.
like that.
Oh, that is so pretty.
Beautiful.
This is our QB Slide T-shirt. It is available in the CHGOlocker.com right now. You're going to want to get that. I mean, you wear that across your chest instantly. Everybody in Chicago and probably San Francisco knows what that is.
Yeah, I need that one right there. You know, you guys got it in 3X for the big fellas out there. So the big fellas that are out there, we got it in your size too.
I mean, I just think everybody's got to be impressed with CHGO. Look at the turnaround time on that.
Exactly.
I mean, that is less than 24 hours of popping that out.
I love it.
Hit the like button if you want that. Also, if you want that, CHGOlocker.com.
Regardless.
Hit the like button just because you like us.
That is
right?
a dope shirt, though. That is a dope.
Also, we just dropped our 8-bit shirt of another iconic moment in Chicago Bears history. Check that thing out.
We got that too.
Sweetness, baby.
That has been flying off the shelf since we announced it in yesterday's postgame show. So we have a ton of great Chicago football shirts. Also, yesterday we announced our first tailgate party. It's going to be huge.
Let's go.
It's September 25th. Before the Bears welcome the Texans, we will be partying at the corner of Michigan and Roosevelt in a great parking lot there, right where you get off the CTA. Everything is covered for you. Food, tailgate, entertainment, live DJ. We even have a parking option. There's limited parking. So for $34, you'll get in, and that includes food and drink.
34. Why did you choose that number, Kevin?
I can't imagine why. And then we also have an $85 option, which gets you 1 parking space, which I think is a pretty good deal.
$85, Kevin? Why did you choose that number?
I'll let you guess, Lawrence.
Okay. Bears.
There is some brilliant synergy going on around
I
here.
love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'd like to one day offer a $22 or $23 or $24 option for something, and that would mean something. You know what I mean?
Oh,
You got-
22.
you follow my
23.
drift?
Yeah, sure.
You guys said music, so some people I do the robot or something like that, right?
Yeah. So awesome things going on at CHGO. I mean, a lot of cool things: shirts, merch, events, everything.
And we really want to hang out and meet y'all at
Exactly
when the Bears are trying to get to 3-0 after they whip Green Bay, which by the way, it's
join our
perfect.
party.
It's perfect to have Woot here because of course his first sack came against the Packers when you concussed Brett Favre.
No, he is actually in Minnesota then, but against a
my
former
bad.
Green Bay guy.
Okay, my bad. Okay. I
Bears
just,
fans still love
Favre is forever a Packer. Come on.
okay. I just that was.
Hey, shout out to Ramses. Thanks, buddy. Happy Victory Monday, boys. Let's effing go.
There we
Thank
go.
you, Ramses. Happy Victory Monday to you.
We love you, Ramsey. All right, so hey, let's Matt,
get into this.
Let's get into this, and so let's go right to the post game. And here comes the Floos, and he's having his after the rain, after the celebration, after all the sweet things, and he's like, hey, I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised at all. Now there probably is some level of I'm the head coach. I can't be surprised when we win, but there was also some I felt like real Floos belief that
I love it.
that we're going to do this, and I know that you were on San Francisco radio.
I was. KNBR, right? It's like the 670 score of San Francisco, right? And I'm on the radio station, and they're talking to me. What do you think the prediction is? I said 21-10. I said the Bears are going to win. I said the rain's going to be a factor. I had said Trey Lance is going to struggle, right, which he did. I said Justin Fields is going to outperform him. And they thought I was absolutely crazy. I said, they don't buy into Trey Lance. I said, there's some conflict in the locker room. I don't know if they buy into him. Yeah. Then Shanahan comes on the show later on and says, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just reading into headlines, this, that, and the other. Well, you know what, Kyle? I was right. I predicted it. And if Santos made those two, I had the prediction completely right. So the Bears got you. You know, you talk about play calling, this, that, and the other. The same thing that happened in the Falcons game. You abandoned the run game when you had the game on lock. Same thing you did in the second half. That's why the Bears were able to get the dub.
Is anybody else feeling that this? It's almost like personal with you and Kyle.
It is. Yeah. It is. I don't like his arrogance. And I told you guys that. I feel like he carries himself in a different manner, and it rubs me the wrong way. And it rubs a lot of people that played in the league the wrong way too.
The way the 49ers are coming out of this too, and I'm texting with some of my Niners fans. Wow, I mean, I threw out the Bears Super Bowl question today, and they're like, "Well, if you get to play in the rain like that," I was like, "Hold on a second. That weather should have been perfect for San Francisco
exactly.
too. I don't think the Bears get knocked for yesterday's weather. I don't think that's fair.
Not at all. Both teams had to play in it, right? They knew what was going on, and everyone was saying San Francisco had the edge in the run game, right? The first half they did, but in the second half, the Bears had the edge in that one.
I was saying yesterday, I really find it hard to believe that anyone can be taken off guard in the year 2022 about an NFL football team, because there's only 32 of them. There is so many ways to get information. All of these organizations are built out with so many layers of people. So how can you really be taken off guard? But I think, like, really, when you talk about Kyle right now, it actually shows you that there's still a human element to there. They still buy into narratives. They still buy into preconceived notions about what the Chicago Bears are. And, not understanding that this is a different regime, that this is a different approach, that this is a different system. And the Niners got caught.
They thought they had this game in the bag, to be honest with you. And you saw in the post game some of the reactions, right? They thought they had this game in the bag. They really didn't have respect for the Chicago Bears, to be honest with you, as a whole. And I think that stems from the head coach. Yeah. I feel like when you come in and you don't respect the team, that's what happens. They come back and they beat you. So that's what happened.
Well, it was part of the reason why, and I admittedly picked the Niners to win by 2, but felt like the Bears were going to cover and were going to be right there, because the Bears are that was a Super Bowl level singular focus. We're building to this. We want the Nagy and Pace era as far in the rearview mirror, and let's stamp who we are, and let's put a little bit on. Hey, that was a problem, and that problem is over. So we're going to show you. And whereas San Francisco, it's like, y'all are trying to figure out what your quarterback is. You all are coming off where you were in the NFC Championship game. This feels like, there's a hangover going on over here, which is the Bears are, we are all systems are go right now.
Exactly.
Basically.
Yeah. I love what I saw. The great thing is, whenever you could play a first half like that, I mean, that was as bad. Like, I was thinking, okay, is the Matt Nagy era back? And then, that's what we all thought at first.
I saw somebody tweet, Luke Getsy is going to tear off his mask, and it's going to be Matt Nagy underneath.
That's what I thought, because in the preseason, just through practices, through that last preseason game, we saw a different team. We saw him getting Justin Fields on the move. We saw the running game going, and we just didn't see any of that in the first half. Yeah. Justin Fields was strictly throwing from the pocket. His strength is on the move, so I didn't understand that.
His post-game presser on his interception was I thought, very calming. He's like, well, this is what I thought. I tried to move him with my eyes this way. That didn't work, so obviously I have to learn from that. But there is a lot going on with him trying to manipulate the defense, and we're talking about a guy who he's 2-8 last year, so this is his 11th start. It's still obviously developing, and the stuff that I'm hearing from Fields is giving me confidence that he knows exactly what's going on. He knows where he wants to go.
So speaking of confidence, in that first half, we all saw it. We didn't see confidence from Justin Fields at all, right? And I think it was because of Luke Getsy, right? In the second half, you look at how much more confidence. They said, okay, let's get Justin Fields running. Let's get some zone reads. Let's get him outside the pocket.
Right.
And then what happens? He has that big scramble play where him one-on-one on a defensive end, I'm picking Justin Fields every time. He scrambles over there, turns around, completes it to Pettis, then we get the touchdown. Then the momentum starts rolling. Then we get some stops defensively. And what do? Keep Justin Fields on the move.
Right.
And he throws another touchdown. And then all of a sudden we're driving again. Then we have another score that we run in. So the moral of the story is Justin Fields is better when he's on the move. Luke Getsy is going to understand that. And next week, starting out, they're going to get him on the run early and often.
Yeah. So I wrote in this morning's CHGO newsletter, which you can sign up for on our website, allchgo.com. It's free. Comes out every Monday morning. I wrote that it was just like a cleansing win because this was not what we usually expect from the Bears. A Matt Nagy team will get punched in the mouth, and they want to come back. There would be no adjustments. And in reality, the 49ers were basically what the Bears kind of used to be, overmatched quarterback. Let the penalties pile up. And, have a breakdown for a big play. Every single big play yesterday went the Bears' way. Right?
Exactly.
There was the 49ers really did not author any really big plays.
And I think the biggest key word that you said that just now, Kevin, was adjustments. And we've heard that from a lot of people. Like, I love the adjustments. And I mean, you probably know better than anybody.
Exactly.
What did you see in the second half that were the actual adjustments for that they did?
Yeah, so in the first half, I talked about that, keeping Justin Fields in the pocket. That's what they tried to do. And then they were like, okay, this is not working. So let's get him on the move. Let's get some of those zone reads. Let's get him on the boots, the nakeds. And that's when he started to get that confidence, and that when the offense really started to expand. And then they got the running game going. So Montgomery was kind of struggling to get things going. So what do? They bring in Khalil Herbert, young Juice out there. So it was good to see him have some explosive plays. He looked really good. And, people can say whatever they want, but the Bears have two really good backs. And Herbert at times, I mean, he's so explosive, and the way he hits that hole, I mean, you got to give him a little more playing time in there.
The Herbert thing is weird to me. Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, how are you successful out there? Because he's kind of like he's figuring where's the hole, and then all of a sudden he
just bursts. He's got that burst. He's got a different level of burst out there. So
I mean, the numbers, which when you look at the numbers on the offense, I mean, and we'll talk to Nick about this in a second too. But like, Justin Fields is not going to go, I would at least hope not, 8 for 17 for 121 yards again this year.
Yeah.
Demo's not going to have the game that he had. He was 17 carries for 26.
Exactly.
So, I mean, you win, you get and
Cole Kmet, like no action.
Was he on the field? Like
Darnell Mooney,
right.
only one catch in the game.
So nowhere to go but up here.
Exactly. The elements had to play in that, but yeah, I think we can only go up from here. And I think the great part is if we can start the game next week, starting with the run game, right? Really getting that going, getting Justin Fields on the move, because you look at what Shanahan did early on with Trey Lance. Yeah. That was a great game plan right there, because run the ball, hard play action, and they kept the pressure off him. That's what I thought the Bears were going to do with the talented front of the 49ers, and they didn't do that early on, because in the first half, they got after him. And in the second half, it was much better when you have Justin Fields, the option, one-on-one on a defensive end on a rollout. Yeah. I'm taking him 100% of the time.
And he named, too, that the play to Pettis, like the whole momentum changed, right? And now he's, okay, I'm feeling some confidence here. He had the scramble where he got the first down, which I was sitting there with Hogan, and I'm like, I was kind of like, settle down. We haven't done anything yet. And Hogan's like, no. He needs to absolutely do that. That's where. So there is, like, he is a confident Justin Fields, but it's also to see success in the moment.
Exactly.
He still needs some of that.
And on that Pettis play, he had talked about it. He said that was his last read. So I think we were talking about the difference between him and Trey Lance, right? The thing is, Trey Lance was great on his first reads in the first half. And then Justin Fields, what he did on that play, Dante Pettis was his last read. So he's looking across 1, 2, 3. Dante Pettis is the fourth option. He scrambles over there, connects, and everyone said, oh, it's a lucky play. No, it's a guy being smart and knowing what the defense is giving him.
And he didn't spaz out either. Like, I'm just going to loft this to you.
Exactly.
I see all the room in the world. Let's just make sure we get this completion. And by the way, you're still going to have a ton of time to get to the end zone. And he did.
Yep.
And underrated blocking on that play, too.
Do you think that was the number one play of the game? What do you think the most important play of the game was?
That play right there.
You think so?
I think so. Because
I think there's a few candidates. That's why I asked.
Yeah, I say that play because it really reinvigorated this Bears team.
Yeah.
And then getting a stop after that, driving down the field again, and then getting another passing touchdown. I think Justin Fields at that point said, I got this.
See, I think you're going to make a huge case for Jalen Johnson knocking out the football. Which way do we? Yeah, Jalen Johnson knocked out the football.
True.
And Brisker recovered.
Because they were driving on us.
Right. So I think you make a call for that. Like they take a stand right off the top.
Exactly.
I think the second touchdown pass was huge too.
Yeah, both of them. I mean, we can go so many different ways with this.
Seeing a Bears team not settle for field goals was mind blowing.
It was great to see because the red zone was our biggest Achilles heel last year. You know, we struggled anytime we got in the red zone. We had field goals, turnovers, and they capitalized in the red zone.
I'm trying to sit here and think, can I go with head of content Kevin Kaduk saying that if the Niners get in early, do the Bears ever kind of recover and get in the football game? But I don't think I can do it. I mean, Fields is out there saying like that changed the whole momentum, and
it did. And Eberflus, his defense was top 10 in takeaways last year, so we knew they were going to take the ball out. But
they get in and we're like, how are they only down 3 points?
Exactly. To be down at 10 points at halftime is amazing with how much San Francisco controlled the time of possession. They controlled the running game. They controlled every aspect of that defensively. So to be down 10-0 at halftime, that's a win all day for the Bears.
J2K suggesting that Eddie Jackson's INT was a game changer as well.
Yeah.
Play.
I almost passed out. I jumped up from the couch so quick. I got lightheaded. I was screaming. It felt good.
That was it. Well, I want to say that was a game sealer, but it really wasn't. Once we got in the end zone from there, that was really the game sealer. But that was, thank you, Khalil Herbert, way to do it. But that was what a sweet moment for Eddie. I mean, really,
exactly.
First interception since December 29th of 2019. That's more than a minute.
I think he's back. I think a big thing for him. His tackling too. I mean, he made some great tackles on some outside runs where a year ago he would have missed them or he would have came up a different way. But he seems like he's back. I think Eberflus really has reinvigorated this team, and defensively, I mean, just to have the perseverance for how they started that game and how they finished. Right? They didn't allow anything in that second half.
I want Eddie Jackson to be back.
I think everybody does.
Yeah.
I think everybody does.
I'm tired of posting pictures of his cereal on clearance at Moreano's, and then everyone retweets it. I want him to be able to release that cereal again, and everybody wants.
We need that cereal back.
Yes.
Eddie Jackson special, baby.
Eddie Jackson slept well last night. But before we get to Nick, let me one just Eberflus slight nitpick.
Okay.
And I'm going to lean on you on this one, Corey, because I don't think guys are necessarily paying attention to what the coach says in the presser to the media afterwards. You're not going back and watching that. I wouldn't think. Maybe some guys do. But he said, and I am like Mr. Flus. I want to live my life flused. However, I just noticed in his presser, I told them this, I told them that. It was a little too little. I just one less I is all I'm asking for the flus. I don't know. Can would that bother you? Would that bother players?
I don't think so. I think you maybe interpreted the wrong way, because I think guys are buying into what he's saying.
Clearly.
Because obviously the way they came out in the second half. So sometimes people look into too much, but I think he's one of those leaders, kind of like Lovie Smith, doesn't talk a lot, but I think that the players buy into him. And what does he preach? Discipline, we're playing great defense, and we're going to turn the football over. And those are the recipes for success in this league.
Love it.
Am I the only one that thought about the flus? Too many eyes. I'm thinking.
Yeah, you're thinking too much.
I might be the only one. I just keep on putting your team first. That's what Lovie did. That's why they love Lovie. By the way, you can check out a Brian Urlacher interview that we did on the YouTube channel, which he underlines what they loved about Lovie. I'll get to Nick in 1 second, but first, football season, PointsBet, bringing you a better way to bet live and just live your whole betting life beautifully here. But yes, tonight you want to do some Monday night action. You can place a live same game parlay bet on the next drive to be a touchdown. You can cash out your live in the second half. You can make overs, unders, whatever you want to do here. There's a lot of options. PointsBet gives you total access to more live football.
You're going to need PointsBet to make tonight's game interesting. That's all I'll say.
You do. What you want to do is download the PointsBet app today. You want to sign up with the code CHGO. You get your first 2 bets risk-free up to $2,000. Make them big, so if they hit, they come right to you, baby. Don't be afraid on those first couple of bets for sure. By the way, if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, 1-800-GAMBLER for crisis counseling and referral services.
I saw somebody in the comments ask if we still have the $51 PointsBet promo offer. We do not right now. But if you want one of these cool shirts, the QB slide one we just released, or the QB1 or 8-bit or any other sports in town, you could actually sign up for a CHGO membership, which for $60 gets you a free T-shirt, gets you access to our CHGO social lounge. People are in there talking about the Bears during the game, and also gets you access to all of our locked content. Yeah. Mark did a bunch of cool grades after last night. He'll be doing grades after every single Bears, and that unlocks that. So if you're looking for an offer, that's the way to go right now.
So I got one thing. I'm looking at some of the comments, and a couple people chime in and saying something about Montgomery didn't have a bad game. No one's saying he had a bad game.
No.
We were just saying Herbert was explosive in there, right? He really took notice. Sometimes games, Herbert might look better, Montgomery look better.
Yeah.
We got 2 talented backs. Montgomery is a beast, right? But in this game, I think Herbert performed better. Get 5 yards a pop.
It's the NFL in 2022. Yeah. You need the change of pace back. You need a person who can bring a different thing. And I think sometimes people are really, they want to move on from one era because that's how it works. And, David Montgomery is going to be needing a lot of money. I understand that, but we can have both guys be playing well this year.
Exactly.
And if the Bears are going to be successful, that's going to need to happen.
Exactly. Next week, Montgomery can go off and Khalil Herbert not as much. That's just how it works in this league.
Yeah, and if we're going to list things that we're concerned about for the Bears in 2022, David Montgomery and his performance is about 198 on that list.
Exactly.
I mean that's not.
Yeah. And he's effective out of the backfield as well. People really sleep on his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield.
I'd love to see Demo getting the ball more from Justin Fields in that fashion. But also, if you asked him, "Hey, David, did you play well yesterday? Did you have a good game?" He said, "No, it's not what I'm looking to do."
Exactly.
Whatever. It's fine. I don't think we're panicking, but 17 for 26. Hopefully, we're not going to see that again either. It's not just on David Montgomery. Obviously,
O-line as well.
O-line's got to come along.
They struggled in that first half. He got most of those carries in the first half, and the Niners, they were playing some football up front. Yeah. They got tired towards the end. The great part is we talked about Justin Fields getting on the move. You know what that did? That tired out the defensive line. Yep. Bosa and company were not moving the same way. They didn't have that same pop off the ball chasing him around. When Justin Fields gets on the move, man, it is such a different element. As a former defensive lineman, playing against a guy like Mike Vick and all these different guys, you are so gassed. You literally, it's the toughest thing. That's why people used to fake cramps all the time, just to get a rest.
Not you, though.
No, never. But, that in that situation, sometimes people have to burn timeouts because their guys are tired. That's the element of Justin Fields that separates him from other quarterbacks.
You really never did it?
Never did it. Yeah. I actually had really cramps.
Okay.
Yeah, real cramps, man. Okay. Yeah, I used to cramp a lot. I used to get IVs in there.
I'm staring Corey down like, did you not? I wasn't sure. All right. Nicholas Moreano, our Bears reporter. Yes, Kevin.
First off, I want to we've been talking about Gametime here at CHGO. Yesterday, Lawrence showed you how to get great deals through Gametime, the hottest new ticketing site, which makes it easier than ever to score really great deals. Yesterday, that Bears ticket market cratered because no one wanted to go sit out there. You could get into the game for $50 or $60 by Gametime.
Yep.
And if you've ever dreamed of sitting a seat you never thought you could, 50-yard line, courtside, behind home plate, floor seats at a concert, it's possible with the Gametime app.
Yeah, there's a link right below this YouTube video.
Yeah.
And I've just clicked on it to look at Bears tickets.
So if you really want to help out CHGO, this is really one of the best ways to do it. If you're headed up to Lambeau this Sunday,
let's see.
Buy it through this link.
$123 will get you in standing room only. Yeesh.
I'd do that.
$200 though. Look at this. That's a nice looking view. Yeah,
those are good seats.
Yeah, they give you I like that they give you the view.
Look, there are Packer fans who are going to be giving up their tickets in droves in fear of this Chicago Bears, and especially after Green Bay. So check out the Gametime app.
And definitely please use that link that I just went through on our YouTube stream because that really helps us out, helps our mission here.
Over
at
15
CHGO.
million people have downloaded the Gametime app, and they all score the best seats to all your favorite events.
Great opportunity to go up to Lambeau with the Bears 1-0 and have a ton of fun. I believe Nicholas Moreano is going to be going up there and not using the Gametime app.
With the credential.
With the credential, baby. Nick, we're talking about the offense. I know you have thoughts on this and how we're far away from hitting on all cylinders here, but in the locker room yesterday and just talking to guys, the way this is all coming together, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I think the big thing, you guys, like you mentioned David Montgomery, and you mentioned how maybe he wasn't as effective. Like you look at Cole Kmet, Darnell Mooney, and David Montgomery, they had a total of 58 yards, but yet the Bears were still able to get that 19-10 victory. So I think there's so much more improvement for this offense to make. And like you guys were mentioning, the blocking still needs to be improved. And you had a rotation at right guard. So there's still things that obviously need to get better at for this Bears offense overall. But you guys touched on the scrambling drills and kind of what that does. Corey was talking about what it does to a defense. But that's been something that the Bears have been practicing all offseason. You go back to the previous regime, you ask some of the wide receivers, like, yeah, we haven't really practiced scramble drills. That's
insane.
Case with this. That is insane, and especially because it's Justin Fields as your quarterback. You would think that's his strength. So the Bears coaching staff, this current one, has made that an emphasis, and you saw that play out on the Dante Pettis touchdown. Once he gets out on the edge there, Justin Fields able to make two guys miss. You see Dante Pettis wide open, and he was telling Justin Fields in the pressers that what that takes is not just an individual effort, but everyone needs to know their assignments of spacing, how to kind of go about a scramble drill. And he saw that kind of play out in that touchdown, that really what Justin Fields called was a turning point in that game. So again, that they're catering to the quarterback strengths, which mind-blowing to the previous regime, but it made sense in this game, and especially for Justin Fields, who is obviously the Bears quarterback.
And you know what that was? So Luke Getsy came from Green Bay, right? That is classic Green Bay. That's what they worked all the time with Aaron Rodgers. He was so good at that, the scramble drill. And what do? They work their routes over there. They go this way, they go that way. They work on that all the time. So that's what Luke Getsy, bringing something great from Green Bay and implementing it into a mobile quarterback in Justin Fields. So I love that, because there's going to be a lot of plays like that, and that's what's going to separate Justin Fields from another quarterback is those scramble plays. And like I said, those defensive linemen, they hate chasing guys like Justin Fields. Like it would leave me up at night playing guys like Colin Kaepernick, Michael Vick, guys like that. When you're going to be gassed the whole game chasing this guy around, it really makes you rush differently. It does. And that's what you saw in the second half with the 49ers. Bosa and company weren't getting home like that because they were tired. They're worried about him scrambling because one-on-one, they're not catching Justin Fields. He gone.
I think it just underlines what a colossal failure it was for the previous regime to go through that whole charade between Andy Dalton as your starting quarterback. Yeah. Because he is a different quarterback. He was successful in his day for a little bit with the Bengals, but what he brings to the table was different than what Justin Fields does the table. And you cannot install an offense for Andy Dalton and then say, okay, well, 5 or 6 weeks in, we're going to switch to Justin Fields when he's ready. Now it even happened even quicker than last time because Dalton got hurt.
You just fired up a little bit of anger in the old Carman over here because the Andy Dalton signing was the dumbest thing one of the dumbest things.
Well, they didn't know they were going to get Justin Fields out of.
No, I feel like as a backup, they had Nick Foles, and then in March they absolutely had to have Andy Dalton. It was so unbelievably absurd.
What point do you think we stopped talking about Nagy and?
But you did it.
I know.
They wanted him to start day one, and I agree. I think Justin Fields should have started day one. You just game plan around him. But I think it's a blessing in disguise that he didn't play from day one because it might have really messed his confidence up, last year.
I mean, the best quarterback play they got last year was from Nick Damn Foles. So he could, if you didn't want him to start week one, you start Nick Foles. That's why he was here.
He's got a Super Bowl ring, man.
Right, exactly. Okay. Hey, Nick. What about this offensive line situation? I mean, I guess the whole plan last week was that Lucas Patrick and Tevin Jenkins were going to flip back and forth. Do you think we're seeing more of the same here come Sunday night?
According to Matt Eberflus, he said he doesn't know if that's going to continue this week. And I would think if Lucas Patrick is healthy enough to snap, the ideal situation for this Bears offensive line would be to have Lucas Patrick at center and Tevin Jenkins as your right guard. But yeah, it was a design rotation. So I guess we'll have to see. But guys, they usually kick us out, the media, right before they actually start kind of lining up in the formations there. So we'll have to just wait and see. But that was by design. They said they were practicing it throughout the entire week. But I think in an ideal scenario, you brought Lucas Patrick in to be your center. That's what you paid him for. That's what he was repping at right before he got injured. He was building that chemistry with Justin Fields. So I think in an ideal scenario, you do have Lucas Patrick as your center, and then you have Tevin Jenkins as your right guard. And Sam Mustipher, like Justin Fields talked about him last night in his presser, saying that he did a good job with those weather conditions. The snaps were mostly good, and he gave him credit to playing the way he did. So you would have a nice backup in Sam Mustipher if Lucas Patrick can get that right hand out of the cast and is able to snap.
He did underline Mustipher a little, Fields did, which was, I guess, slightly interesting.
By the way, shout out to Tony Booth, who gave us a $5 super chat to talk about rotating there. Thank you very much, Tony. That kind of got that ball rolling there.
Tony, we appreciate you. I don't know how you. What do we think about this? We're having rotating guards. I mean, Lucas Patrick's got to get himself in condition, and same thing with Tevin, I guess. I don't.
I understand that, but I said along, it should be Tevin Jenkins and Whitehair and Mustipher be the center, right? Because when Patrick's hand is good, he's the center. We signed him for a reason. So the growth that Tevin Jenkins had this offseason, I think he's going to be a stable at the right guard position. So I understand you want to get Patrick some time or whatever, but that's what practice is for at this point, to get him in shape and whatnot. Like, I don't understand that.
I mean, he was certainly fired up going into the locker room. The video the Bears put out, Patrick is hugging Flus and everybody else, and talk about a guy who's made a home for himself in Chicago. And I did think, and Nick, maybe you comment on this too, but like the fact that Fields is giving game balls to the head coach and the GM.
That was awesome. I love that clip.
Right? I mean, that was amazing.
That was awesome. Yeah. Leadership, everything.
Right. Like, hey, we appreciate you guys for putting this all together. Yep. I mean, that was big.
Yesterday
time.
was like an all-time Bears day on Twitter. Like, it started with Will tweeting out a Park District employee or Bears employee squeegeeing the field, and it's gotten like over 150,000 views. Like, it went viral. People are contacting him. Hey, can we use this on our shows and whatever?
Awesome.
And then, so from the splashdowns to the clip of the game balls.
Hold on, it started. Let's be honest. It started with Braggs pre-Sunrise, who's just
Greg Braggs was out there repping it.
Junior, Greg Braggs Jr.
I cannot imagine the tailgating yesterday. That was
it was nuts. Probably people were having fun, baby. Football is back. That's the great part about it.
Nick, you explain what you've seen as far as the Bears going from, okay, these are our new coaches and what's going on here. And I think Jalen Johnson had some moments where he was looking sideways at Matt Eberflus, and he got benched. If you go all the way back to minicamp, he got put on the second team. And now, I mean, Jalen's like, I love the hits principle. This is amazing. So there's a buy-in that's, I don't know if you can name any particular time where you're like, whoa, these guys really like this coaching staff. But how do you sum up that part of this whole thing coming together?
Yeah, I think when you look at it, you guys, and go back to Justin Fields, what he kind of said in his presser, it was echoed by what Matt Eberflus said before him, is that we need to have the mental stamina to win this game. Justin Fields repeated that and said that's what they needed to have in order to win this game, and they outlasted the 49ers. 19-10 were able to win. And then you look at like a guy like Eddie Jackson. After he got that interception on the sideline, Matt Eberflus said he went up and hugged him. And so I think when you look at this entire team, and obviously when we think of hits, maybe it's more so for the defense, but it's for the entire team. 19 different defensive players ended up with a tackle in that game. There's a lot of rallying to the football, a lot of collective effort from every single person on this team to make things happen. So it starts from the quarterback and goes all the way down to the last special teamer. But I think when you look at what Justin Fields did after the game, giving the game ball to Matt Eberflus and also Ryan Poles, it's like, yeah, this team is bought in. Hits is a real thing. You saw it on the very first defensive drive where Jalen Johnson's punching at the football. And there was another play later in the game, you guys, where Jaquan Brisker has a tackle on Elijah Mitchell. Jalen Johnson's doing the same thing again. He misses with the peanut punch, but it's just the effort, the continuous effort by this team in all phases to just buy in to what Matt Eberflus has brought to this Chicago Bears football team. So it's echoed everywhere throughout this locker room. We've asked, Bears players throughout the summer, leading up to preseason to now, like, hits. Does it really work? Yeah. Like Dominique Robinson after the Seahawks game, I asked him, hey, how many loafs did you get, in the week 1 performance against the Chiefs? He's like, well, I got 5. And so, like, my goal for week 2 or the preseason game against the Seahawks, to not get those loafs. The man had 1.5 sacks just yesterday. So you see the effort, Mark, in terms of what the Bears are wanting to do and who they are as an identity. They are a team that's going to fight for every yard, that's going to rally to the football and ultimately make plays.
Yeah, it's always great to see because, after Fangio left, I feel like the defense got lazy, loafs, not rallying around the football, not scooping up balls, this, that, and the other, and that all translates to the field. And under Eberflus, that's something that they're going to do. They're going to be disciplined. They're going to rally around the football, like you said. They're going to create turnovers and shoot. Those turnovers really sealed the game for the Bears in that. So, yeah, like you said, everybody's buying into that. And everyone was saying, oh, we need an offensive-minded coach. No, Eberflus is that guy. Bears do well when they have a defensive-minded coach. Mike Ditka, Lovie Smith, and now Eberflus. So I'm looking forward to this year because it's only going to go up from here. They didn't play that well in this game as a whole. I love the adjustments and stuff, but it's great to have a win when you didn't have your best performance out there.
It's interesting. Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, Corey, Nick referenced Dominique Robinson getting graded with 5 loafs in one of those preseason games, and he really took it to heart, and he walked around with that week with the 5 loaves. He walked around Hallis Hall. Did you ever play in a system like that where you had to wear something like that all week, and what did it do?
So not wear that, but Lovie Smith and Rod Marinelli, who was our defensive coordinator when I played for the Bears, he hated loafs, right? That was a big thing, And as a defensive lineman, when you come from college, right, you're pretty much playing every snap. So sometimes you loaf, sometimes you don't. And in this league, they're like, go as hard as you can for as long as you can. And we're getting the rotation going. Because I remember, in the preseason, I loafed a couple times, just like Robinson did. And Rod Marinelli chewed me out. He's like, you'll never play in this rotation. 2012 season, if you don't run to the ball every time. So I made an effort to myself. I'm like, okay, I had 4 loafs this game. Now I'm going to have 2, and then by the end of the final third preseason, I didn't have any. So he's like, that's what carries over because the thing is, you look at Robert Quinn last year. I mean, a lot of guys were loafing last year, but that was the one great thing he did was his effort all year.
I think this is just a very good underlining because even the most motivated people of all time, you need somebody. Like there's a 1/10 of 1% out there that don't need anyone behind them checking out what you're doing at all times of the day.
Like yourself. You've had a great first week here at CHGO, Mark.
I am not in that crew. I need Daddy out there, the teacher or whoever. Substitute teacher back in the day. Carman's not paying attention. I wasn't paying attention when the regular teacher either. But this is what they're doing. There's real accountability.
Yeah.
And dudes respond to that.
Exactly. And I think that's very telling of Eberflus because that's how guys were under Lovie and Rod Marinelli. You'd want to run through a wall for those guys. And that's what it looks like the Bears team. Hey, it wasn't perfect, but the effort was there. The attitude was there. There weren't many loafs, this, that, and the other. So I think that's all carrying over. And I think that tells you how they feel about Eberflus, how they feel about Williams, the defensive coordinator. So I love what I saw. Effort-wise, it was there, right? Some of the other things we need to clean up, coverage, some of the pressure, this, that, and the other. But Dominique Robinson, I mean, he really played well. I mean, the second leading tackler out there, 1.5 sacks. He had 2 QB hits. I mean, he was all over the place. 5th-round pick. That was a great pickup.
Yeah. Nick, on your way out, maybe you want to underline Dominique Robinson a little bit because I think I was with you at least one of the days that he was speaking to the media out at Hallis. And, I mean, his enthusiasm is on display. He loves the game, and no one thought that he was going to come out there and do this. No Bears rookie had ever had a sack and a half. But I thought even the way he did it was super impressive.
Someone asked, what's the rookie Sax record, and does Robinson have a shot at it? Javon Curse, 14.5.
Yep. But Robinson's a D tackle, so right. I wonder what the rookie D tackle.
Also, let's pump the brakes a little bit on that. A little bit. Start.
But
exactly.
He does have an extra game to do it.
Okay.
There
got 17 games.
There's no pumping the brakes.
Let's do it.
And it's always
all
good
gas,
to have pass rushers. He can be in that nickel front. I mean, Can never have too many pass rushers, right?
I mean, this show today feels like we're talking about a team that's going to be in the playoffs, if not winning the Super Bowl, the way we're sitting here today.
We'll speed ahead, Carm.
Let's go. Hey, let's go. Nick, anything on your way out? I know Flus is talking today at 3.
Yeah, just one last thing. We talked about, obviously, the effort that, this Bears team played with. But, that last part in the hits, principle, the smarts, right, the S there, only 3 penalties for 24 yards. And when you look on the opposite end with a coaching staff that obviously has an established coach in Kyle Shanahan, 12 penalties for 99 yards. We've seen so many games before, you guys, where the Bears have had terrible penalties, where it's a pre-snap penalty, the drive's essentially over. And in crappy conditions like it was yesterday, that wasn't the case for this Bears team. Very disciplined, were able to not shoot themselves in the foot in terms of the penalties and what they were able to do. Maybe look at the Trenton Gill play and whatever happened there. But outside of that, this Bears team at home, week 1, against a very quality opponent, stay disciplined. And, this is only the beginning of this. And so Matt Eberflus has been preaching that ever since he got to Chicago. We're going to be a smart football team. Showed out today or yesterday.
You just gave us a perfect segue into what we want to talk about, Nick, next. So thank you, brother. And we'll look forward to your reporting this afternoon on the Flus, all right?
All right, you guys.
See you, Nick.
Nicholas Moreano going to be on the case this afternoon. I want to have some fun with the scene that was the foreign object in a second here. But first off, our friends at 5 Iron Golf. Today's actually a very important day with 5 Iron, which is the nation's leading indoor golf and entertainment experience. Go have some fun. There's 3 Chicago locations: River North, in the Loop, Lincoln Park. So you get your golf on, right, and you also have you get the instruction if you want to take your game up. They've got some custom club fitting, which if you're going next level, that's a sweet thing.
Today is a good day for a golf simulator as opposed to a golf course.
Exactly, but most importantly, at least from my perspective,
no chance of being hit by lightning.
No, right. And by the way, the weather is coming back here, so but winter's also right around the corner. So but the most important thing in my city, they got the full bar over there. They got the restaurant. It's a great date place. A million things to do over at 5 Iron Golf. Check out 5irongolf.com, by the way, to learn more. And the fall leagues are kicking off today. Yep. So you can still get in there. You don't have to have a full team. You can be a solo and just jump on somewhere. Which for you singles out there, that's a great option. You don't know who's going to be on your team. You want to meet people. Great way to go about it. Not that I know anything about that. 30% off on your registration fees when you use the promo code CHGO30. CHGO30. Go to 5irongolf.com/leagues. They're 8 weeks. It's not a lifetime commitment. Have some fun.
I have to get out there.
Doesn't it sound great? Seriously.
Do you golf for it?
I'm a big golfer.
Are you?
I got into it 3 years ago, and I'm obsessed.
No.
I won the long drive at the last scramble. I hit 345. Really? The big dog. You know what I mean? 345, baby.
Okay, wow. Corey Wootton.
I'm going to tell you real quick.
You've probably been at 5 Iron then.
I'm on the Bryson DeChambeau setup. I got the Cobra LTDX LS, low spin, baby, with the Trono TX tipped. Played at 44.5 inches, shorter than average.
I have no idea what any of that means.
Neither do I. And
see, you guys aren't real golfers like that.
Not at all.
Absolutely not.
Not at all.
No, and people were bringing it up on here about Dominique Robinson. Like, I consider him as a tweener guy. I look at him as a D tackle end, and obviously he goes inside. He can play both. I think the great part about
his story is amazing.
He has versatility.
Yeah.
So he's listed as a DN. But I see him like. I think if they shifted him inside full time, I think he could be dangerous in there because he can rush well. And I played both. I played end and tackle. My last year I played tackle, and I kind of liked it. So I think he has a lot of flexibility in there that he can play a little bit of both.
I need to do some research on this, and I'll have my comp tomorrow for Tuesday's show at noon. Come on back tomorrow. But does any comp jump off the board when you look at him, and does he remind you of anyone specifically, Dominique Robinson? I know it's early here. I mean,
I got to see a little bit more to do that, but I just love his size. I think that's something you can't teach.
Hell no, Javon Curse. It's Javon Curse.
Okay.
Javon Curse, the freak. Javon Curse, by the way, still at 40-something years old, is still as shredded as a Caesar salad.
Well, Trey Lance is a big dude. To grab him with one hand.
Yeah. He got some
pretty awesome.
Got the paws on him, hold him down. So it was great to see. But it's good whenever a rookie can step up like that in this first game.
Out of nowhere.
I do want to bring up a sport that's more my speed.
Yeah,
and I'm a little bit better at than golf. That's cornhole.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay.
cornhole.
We're talking Chi-Town Cornhole, and if you've been on our social accounts lately, you've seen the amazing boards that they just made for us, custom cornhole boards, which we will have at our tailgate. Lawrence is going to go grab and bring one here on set. But Chi-Town Custom Cornhole is the #1 cornhole provider for Chicagoland and Illinois since 2007. If you're serious about cornhole, this is a serious board.
Woof.
This thing is awesome.
Look at that.
There it is.
Uh-oh. Staley,
Watch out for Staley.
Oh.
This thing has got a light for...
You do it at night, right?
Yeah, a light
Night
for
cornhole.
the custom bags.
Oh, there we go.
Sweet bag.
The signature box style design can be digitally printed, covered in vinyl, and painted. Chi-Town Cornhole's boards come with built-in drink holders, recessed in on the back, LEDs that light up the hole, and exterior handles for easy carrying and putting into your SUV, taking it out. There's also handcrafted scorekeepers on the back, like a little abacus almost. And those are important if you're using the beverage holders.
Damn straight.
Chi-Town Cornhole is veteran-owned and operated. They can ship anywhere and do offer local pickups so you don't have to pay the shipping fees, which is nice. They specialize in corporate designs for your company's next marketing or social events. They make great wedding gifts and gifts for all occasions, especially for tailgaters and backyard barbecues. If you come out to our tailgate on September 25th, you will see these things in action, and you will be impressed. You'll probably want to pony up for a set of your own.
Jaden just paid us $2 to say it's called bags.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jaden.
We've already hashed that out on social, but we may do it again because I think it was like our most engaged post ever, the cornhole versus bags argument. So
I don't mind the old school play there, Jaden. You stay right where you're at. You're all right. And
so who's better between you guys at cornhole or bags?
I don't know.
we're gonna have to try. It's hard to play here because we have people underneath us, and playing bags
noise
is
complaints.
noisy.
We need to
you
go.
get noise
We need to go on the roof so it just bothers us.
So we played a little yesterday because the building is pretty much empty, but we won't be able to play today because the people underneath us will be up here in a second saying, "Knock it the hell off." So.
I'll answer it. I'm gonna take the crown. I'm gonna focus in. Actually, I really don't like myself at this at all. But I still haven't figured out the exact. If you're
see, that's how I know he's not good. He doesn't even have the release. You don't have the release.
I don't have it.
Corey, do you play softball?
Do I play softball? No, I don't.
We have a big playoff matchup with Odyssey, which includes 670 the score.
Oh,
we could have used you. I think you'd probably poke one out.
Yeah, tonight. Come on, just go out there.
I have the record in my hometown of Rutherford, New Jersey, Little League for home runs, batting average, slugging percentage.
Corey, what are you doing tonight around 7?
Little League, but I don't know. I haven't picked up a bat in forever. Golf is my thing now. So
we need you to hit like 170 yards. Yeah, we'll be fine.
I can still probably bomb it. Yeah.
Just for the record, I've been begging Kevin to play, and he's just like,
You're a 12-inch guy, which we won't get into.
I am a 12-inch guy.
What does that mean?
That doesn't mean that.
The 16-inch softball is Chicago, right? The big bush ball. 12 inches, the more like the one that like a high school
Mark,
softball
come on.
But it's just, as if I've never played 16 in my life.
You were talking about, my fingers might break.
Right, man. I really just want to hit.
And you know who the first baseman?
You
know who the first baseman is who runs the risk of breaking their fingers? Me.
Oh man. We got a 12-inch guy and a 16-inch guy.
I mean, all I'm looking for is a little right field action here. Let me just hang out and get some swings in there. But that's all right. No, hey, listen, I'll come out and hang out and just what time's the game time tonight?
7 o'clock, Mozart Park. Hopefully the field dries up. I don't know.
I don't know about that, but
we'll see.
You're gonna be like the Bears after the game. You're gonna be sliding across that.
All right.
Hopefully it's a victory. Yeah.
I mean,
that would be awesome.
I'm there. All right, let's have a little fun here as we and we need some help on the chat here. So
I have a super
I like
chat
that one by Brian Rosenau.
Oh yeah.
Can we please see Corey reenact the time he ended Favre's career with Lawrence acting as Favre? Man, I don't want to hurt Lawrence out here, man.
One.
You know, it's a liability out here. You know, I don't want to hurt him too bad.
I don't know if our insurance policy works.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Like
How often does that come up?
All the time, man. You know, especially when I'm around Chicago and people recognize you, they'll be like, "Oh, love what you did with Favre, or you're the Favre killer." And I hear
you might have to do a special T-shirt of that moment. I honestly, I actually meant to ask you before the show, like, how are you with that? Because you don't know like how guys are about certain things.
I mean, like, listen, Favre, destroyed the Bears for a long time. So Bears fans are very salty about that. You never want anyone to get injured, but it's football, and the playing surface was hard as heck and slammed him on the ground. I never want anyone to get hurt, but it was cool to have my first sack against Brett Favre, a Hall of Famer, Mr. Wrangler jeans. Like, I mean, it was cool to.
Did you say anything? This is a rookie on you.
No, he was knocked out, like cold. Like they had to carry him off. So it's.
That was where like every Bears fan knows where they were when that happened.
Yeah, like I feel like everybody knows that, but it's unfortunate because he took a lot of concussions and he might be dealing with some of those issues. So that's why I kind of like I don't like when people say that, but I get it. But because you never want anyone to get hurt, and especially with what their understanding about CTE and concussions and stuff. But it was great to get my first sack against Favre. We won the NFC North. Devin Hester broke the punt return record that night. So it was a good night for Bears fans.
Outside at the University of Minnesota.
I'm just thinking, you just brought up Devin, which I know that everybody in here thinks that he's getting in on the second ballot here, right?
I think so. He should have got it in on the first ballot. He changed the game. You don't think so?
I don't.
Oh, no.
I'm the only one that doesn't. Because I'm not saying he's not.
Is it an eye thing like Eberflus?
No.
All right, we're going to reenact the Corey Wootton, Brett Favre thing, but we're going to replace Lawrence with Mark.
Yeah,
thank you. Listen. I think he is absolutely a Hall of Famer. I don't want to get Bears fans mad at me, and I already probably did. But because he. And it wasn't just it wasn't all on him, but he wanted to play receiver, Got a chance to play receiver, wasn't a great receiver. So, like,
it has nothing to do whether or not he's getting in the Hall of Fame as the greatest special teamer of all time.
I understand, which is why he should be in the Hall of Fame. But when we're talking about like the elite of the elite, the first time in, like how you were just straight unbelievable. He was not unbelievable at that spot. That's all I'm saying.
Right. He wasn't unbelievable at returning.
You probably
unbelievable at playing wide receiver.
Yeah, but that's not what he's going in for, right?
Right. I understand.
Is he the best returner of all time?
Yes.
So the greatest at position, right? Greatest quarterback, greatest receiver, greatest defensive end. They all are in the Hall of Fame, right?
He's not in because the NFL Hall of Fame election process, I think, is flawed.
And Terrell Owens should have been a first ballot.
Terrell Owens.
That is a first ballot all day.
But Devin Hester, he changed the game. People
think about that though. T.O. and his career versus Devin.
Yeah, but they're different. Yeah. T.O. was a wide receiver. Devin Hester was not. Devin Hester changed the game. Mark,
I got you, but come on, we can't say that the quarterback or the wide receiver is as important as the punt returner or the kick returner. Can we agree?
All right, Carman, answer this question from Who Do You Know 3. If he never tried to be a receiver, would you put him in first ballot?
Listen.
Oh my God!
So I have my own criteria.
You were doing so well today,
I know.
You were doing so well.
Thank you. It's what's going to happen. At times we're going to disagree with me. That's fine. But QBs, wide receiver, dude who sacked the quarterback. Those guys are that to me is that is your most valuable.
There is no other player in NFL history who had the ability to turn a game with one play more than Devin Hester.
I'm not arguing that he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying when we're going to the top of the food chain in football, you can't put that dude at that level.
A returner.
No.
For a returner,
yes, you can. Okay, so that's the whole question. But I think he's mad because Devin Hester didn't pan out a receiver the way you thought. Was it? No.
Well, that was disappointing, but it's more of a. It's more of an integrity to position to overall contribution. I know there's 3 phases, but come on. Like, if you put him in at first ballot, that to me, like you're saying he's as good as Barry Sanders or he's as good as Joe Montana or he's just like.
Is he the GOAT at returner? The greatest of all time.
We're in circles. How did this happen? I should not have said anything.
Sometimes it's better to just keep your mouth shut.
But you brought it.
Oh, you're gonna get a lot of flack for this.
That's fine. I'm right here. Can we? All right. Well, let me pivot where I wanted to have some fun here. Who are? And nobody wants to talk about this stuff, but I'm doing it anyway. Who are we blaming? Because since we are talking special teams, who are we? The Bears had 24 yards in penalties yesterday. 15 came from special teams and the foreign object that Trenton Gill brought out there. Now, Cairo Santos said after the game that it was his fault. Trenton Gill carried that thing out there and tried to drive the field or at least create some footing for Cairo. Flus, you're top of the food chain. Like that, you're the head coach.
Listen. Like he has a special teams coordinator.
So Richard Hightower, candidate number 4.
Exactly.
Who are we blaming the most of the 4?
We gotta blame all of them. Not Eberflus though. He's out of this because he's
Eberflus.
focusing on the defense, right? He's letting Getsy do the offense. He's doing the defense. It's got to be the special teams coordinator, and it's got to be both of those guys.
So Santos says he's done it before. He did it against
right?
the Seahawks last year.
No one knew the damn ass rule.
No.
I don't think.
I think it was the problem was because they left it out there. They should have had a runner go out there.
I think if he tucked it into his pants or something, I think it would have been fine.
Well, that's what the official said. Like if he had just had a little towel in the front, and then he would. But this thing, I think that's where I almost go to Gil. Like, dude, you can't just throw this thing that's enormous, like the beach towel, off to the. That's not going to work.
Thinking he's going to dry off the field when there's torrential downpour, and it's going to make it better, like.
Yeah, we said that.
Cairo took the blame.
You can't dry off a field.
No, you can't. I can understand if there was like a little wet spot and it's dry or whatever, but come on, you can't dry off.
I didn't hate that, like, okay, this is unlikely that's going to help, but at least I'm going to make an effort to try to do something. I didn't hate that part as much. I just, like, if you're going to do that, like, have some deception. He could have stuck that whole thing down his pants too.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have. Come on,
you could have put it under his knee or something. I don't know. Something.
Where's the creativity here?
So I just love the fact that the Bears came back because this would have been the biggest thing in the freaking world.
Oh, you're right. You're so right.
And I love it happened. If it had happened under Matt Nagy, everyone would have pinned it on him.
Yeah.
And it would have been a season-long thing. Yeah. And instead, the Bears came out in the second half and just made it like a funny footnote to our show today.
Yeah, it made it hilarious. But we got to make those extra points. Yeah. Come on.
Hey, we should get to some super chats. If you have some questions for Corey,
I do have
get
one.
us up there. Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's another negative thing.
Oh, no.
It's about Vildor. Alex Ure. I'm going to say Ure. I don't know if it's Ure, but I'm going to say Alex Ure. Vildor's definitely a weak link, getting burned at every corner, giving his guy a few steps. Can the Flus elevate him?
Flus can do anything.
I think he can, and I think a lot of the guys, based on their zone coverage, they weren't on the same page. You look early on with Brisker, you look with Gordon, they weren't on the same page as well. So I think they're going to get back to the drawing board and say, this is what we need to improve on. And you got to remember, this was their first game, right. Brisker and Gordon, where it matters.
Gordon stuck out a few plays.
Exactly. So there was a couple times where they weren't on the same page with the zone coverage. He thought he had help over the top, and he didn't. So things of that nature, they're going to get that corrected because Aaron Rodgers will shred them apart if they don't.
See, on the 44-yard bomb that Gordon got hurt on, that reminded me of myself playing in the park. Like, I'm just staring at the quarterback. I got to get a pick. I want to get a pick. I'm bored playing defense. But, like, you're saying that he thought he had help.
Yeah, he thought he had help. Okay. He was looking in the backfield on a couple times. So I think that's just young and being excited in your first game because number one rule is you have your eyes on your key. You don't have your eyes in the backfield. He almost got burnt with Tyler Kroft, the pass to him early on in the first, and that could have been easily 6 right there. So keep your eyes on your key, and they're definitely going to get that corrected because, like I said, Aaron Rodgers will shred them.
I mean, he did have a bunch of tackles on the day. A little call it an up and down day for Kyler Gordon.
Exactly, but I mean, anytime you can hold a team to 10 points, I mean, I think that's pretty good, right? There was a lot of things we got to improve on, but you got to remember this is week 1, and to get a W in a tough situation with the weather and the way they played in the first half, I think that just shows how resilient this team is.
So we're going from Victory Monday right into Packers Week. What was Packers Week like at Hallis Hall?
Man, it was awesome. Everybody's super hyped for that game, and it's always this tough playing against Aaron Rodgers because he's that guy that you want to sack, you want to fluster. And most of the time in the first half, we did. Yeah. And then when it got to the second half, when it mattered, I mean, he turned it on us. So that's what I'm saying this week. We have to have a game plan for him. And this is the recipe to stop Aaron Rodgers, right? That left defensive end, you have to keep him in the pocket, right? Because what Aaron Rodgers does so well is those scramble plays, just like Justin Fields did. Justin Fields went to the left side, but Aaron Rodgers likes going to the defense left side. And if that defensive end can set the edge right there, and then we keep him contained in that pocket, he throws better outside the pocket than he does in. So if they can keep him inside the pocket, they can have greater success at stopping Aaron Rodgers. When he gets loose on that edge, because what he tells that right tackle, he says, let them win on the inside move. Because I've done it myself. I'm thinking he's baiting me to go to inside. I go inside. Aaron Rodgers rolls out and completes a bomb to Randall Cobb in 2012. And that's when things got going. So if you can keep him contained in that pocket, You
The
know,
good
don't
news
let
is
him-
Devontae Adams is not walking through that door.
yeah.
Randall
Right.
Cobb is not walking through that door. EQ is not walking through that door. He's on the right side of this
exactly.
rivalry.
Shout out EQ.
Yep.
Shout out Lucas Patrick. Shout out Nomad, who's saying that I'm the worst thing since White Fruit of the Looms. That's a funny comment, Nomad.
That's a win right there. That is a win of a comment right there.
My brother, who's 20 years older than me, who I just went to New York with, he goes with the white. I'm like, you got to upgrade that situation here. Let's get into the days. All right, that's a little too much underwear talk.
Yeah.
But I do think what you're saying, Kevin, and it, like last year, everyone's going to say, oh, the Packers got killed early. And it's not even just last year. They've started slow a ton.
Yeah.
But I do think there might be a little bit of a different thing here. I mean, Minnesota, that was a big game.
Yeah.
Like they didn't like. I don't think they came into that game sleeping.
Yeah.
And Rodgers, I mean, he had some real look of frustration going on.
Yeah, he had some frustration, but you got to remember, you got to pump the brakes on this because Aaron Rodgers started the same way last year against the Saints. He looked awful. He threw 2 interceptions, and then the next week he bounced back and had 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. They won the game big.
He was laughing about it.
You just can never count Aaron Rodgers. Like his first games of the season, and he says it. He's like, it was one game. What does it matter? Like he has that mentality like it doesn't matter, and that's what makes him great.
The Bears pass their first test, and they get the biggest test possible. The next one, a primetime game against the Packers on Sunday night.
Yeah.
We know like the loaded connotations that come with that. But like, it would be so great if they could come in there and at least be competitive again. Right?
And early on, this is the recipe, right? Get Justin Fields on the move. Some zone reads. Get him running the football because when he does that, he gets confident. And we saw in the second half. And then defensively, we got to stop the run. They have 2 talented backs in Dillon and Jones.
Yeah.
They're going to look at this game against the 49ers and say in the first half, they gashed them. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to run the football on them. And then all of a sudden, they're going to try to get Aaron Rodgers, like I said, going outside the pocket.
Yep.
If we can contain him, I mean, he doesn't have the weapons that he used to. So if we can keep him inside that pocket, run the football, get Justin Fields on the move, we got a shot, man.
We got a long way to go to Sunday night to delve through everything here. But I do feel to me it's the Bears got nothing to lose here. You got to win you want to win in the bank. No one's expecting to go up there and win. Just let's go up there.
Aaron Rodgers has more, right?
Yeah.
He's talked about how he's owned the Bears, and this year, this is the best I felt about the Bears going into the Packers in a while, right? Just because of his lack of weapons. So
Our man Steeman Willie Beeman, $2 super chat. Green Bay's wide receivers struggle against the Vikes. ... Bears upset ?
There's going to be a lot of Bears belief this week.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm gonna have to work my way through some things before I.
yeah.
You're not there yet.
I'm not there yet. I'm still tired from yesterday.
Okay.
I think it comes down to Eberflus keeping this team. Hey, listen, we won. Let's flush it. Let's move on to the next week. Not get too high off this win.
The Flus
That's
flush.
the biggest thing.
Well,
exactly.
let me read you a Robert
Floosh.
Quinn quote as we get on the way out here. As far as yesterday's win and how it went down. Quote, it puts a bigger belief in the locker room. Guys with the ups and down and all the ifs, regardless from what the outside says, we can control the message in the locker room, which I do think not just the message from the outside, but in that locker room.
Yeah.
You needed a little bit of result. You needed a little.
They needed that win, right? Because
Yeah.
what was everything going around the league? The Bears are the dumpster of the NFC North. They're terrible. They're going to be lucky if they win 30
30th
games.
out of 32 teams.
Exactly.
Like that.
And they came back and they won against one of the best defensive fronts in the game. So in a rainy situation, so I think that just helped their confidence.
I mean, and when you've lost for a while, it's like you can study as hard as you want. You go in and fail the test.
Yeah.
You still think you got something missing. The Bears did a lot of studying and they passed more than passed. So
Hey, before we get going here, I want to remind everyone to check out our new shirt. It is flying off the virtual shelves, but we're going to print as many as we need to. Our QB slide, that thing is beautiful.
That is dope.
Big ups to Eric at DNVR for designing that. All City Network, always coming up big with their merch. You can't find anything like this anywhere. Also, tonight we're going to have another Bears show. Double dose of Bears.
Yes.
Double-decker, baby.
Tonight's going to be anchored by Will DeWitt, Greg Braggs, and our GM, Jake Flanagan. They're going to be talking Bears, a little bit of Monday Night Football and everything. So come out and hang out at night. We figure we're drawing such a huge audience at noon. Let's see what happens if we do something after dark.
yeah, I don't know. The head of content's doing good things. They're coming up with ideas. Let's go.
Let's
Let's
do
go,
it.
Jake Flanagan. You're going to dominate
Let's go,
tonight.
baby.
I see you back there. And shout out to our guy, Adam Hogue. We missed you today.
Yeah.
Hope you get well soon. But I also like to say that this crew right here,
This was fun.
you too, Lawrence. We did what Phil Jackson did back in I got to get a Jordan reference in here. When MJ decided to play baseball, Phil's quote at the time is, "It's similar to the Roman Legion. You bury your dead and you move on." And that's what we did today.
Yeah.
We buried Hogue. We just we came forward and we said, he'll be back when he's back. But right now we got to do what we got to do.
Show must go on. Right?
Awesome.
Right. So
Miss you, man.
yeah,
Cool.
bury your dead, Phil. 1994. All right. Hey, thanks for awesome seeing everybody in the chat today. As always, we really appreciate
Great
it.
crowd.
Including the underwear reference by Nomad.
Fruit of the Loom, Carman over here.
White fruit of the loom. That was rough. Okay, Corey, Mondays.
Yes, let's do it.
Awesome to have you.
Love
man.
breaking it down, man.
Yeah, dude.
love it.
Great to have you in here, Kevin. You the man. Lawrence, appreciate you.
Hit the like button, people.
Hit that like button. Buy that shirt
Come
at
on.
chgolocker.com.
And don't forget that we mentioned it 7 zillion more times, but the tailgate coming up on the 25th. So allchicago.com, get yourself in there. We'd love to see you out 8 a.m. on all the way up to noon. It's going to be a hell of a time. Roosevelt in Michigan. So
Sweet.
hopefully we'll be going for 3-0. Have a great rest of your day. See you tonight with the crew as well. And good luck to the softball team tonight, baby.
Thank you.
We'll